how to get rich wholesaling real estate right now, ASAP. Guys, it's Ginn, and in today's video, I'm going to teach you the 3 simplistic steps you have to do now to become rich in wholesaling. And I promise if you stay till the end, I will give you the distinguishing difference on what is actually going to make you a rich wholesaler, and it's going to separate you from everyone else. But before I get into it, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button, you hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the absolute best up-to-date information on wholesaling today. The first thing you have to understand is wholesaling requires you to have the right mindset. This is no different really than any other business, but the fact of the matter is I'm going to ask you to do something 98% of the population is scared to death to do. It all starts in your mind, and you have to open the possibilities to it. The reality is if you found me on this channel and you're interested in wholesaling, I want to grab you even before you do your first deal and understand your mindset is actually probably the single factor that takes most wholesalers out. You see, you have to understand what it is to be a wholesaler. And it really comes down to your belief. And right now, you have a pretty strong belief that this wholesaling can actually work for you. It can actually make you financially free and get you freedom of your time. But here's the challenges. You have all these 98% people around you, and they're going to question you, and they're going to destroy your belief system. And I'm going to teach you a little technique to make sure your belief always sticks. You see, a lot of people are going to go around you like, hey, that's a scam, that wholesaling. It's not, guys. I've been doing it 21 years. I'm living proof it's not a scam. You have validation from someone who's done thousands and thousands of deals. It's not a scam. So don't take that opinion. I've already disproved it for you. 21 years, use my name and let them know. The other ones you're going to hear is, listen, just go get a real job, be like the rest of us, go to college, get a good education, and get a good safe job. Guys, you only get one life. Make it count. Why are you going to play it safe? You already see the data for people who play it safe. They get their weekends off, they get a week or 2 off a year, and for the most part, they're completely miserable. Listen, take my word for it. I was that employee. Look around you, take inventory of all your friends, your family, everybody who has these jobs. Not everybody's miserable with their job. And if people love their job, then more power to it. But the reality is 70% of Americans hate what they do for a living, and they really don't like the person they work for. So odds are you're going to wind up in that same predicament if you follow that path. So if you know the path's broken, why are you going to take input on it? Understand this going into it. The last part is they're going to tell you to play it safe and to save your money and just keep setting aside. Guys, you're in a day where saving money is almost ludicrous. Your actual savings rate will be destroyed by inflation, and you're actually losing money by saving money. I want to show you how to get rich wholesaling, but you've got to start with your mindset. So if you're hearing feedback like this, and I know you are because I heard it the day I started, and here I am 21 years later, and I still hear it, and it drives me nuts. I want you to understand, to make your belief stick, you have to have strong conviction. Look up the definition of conviction. It is your willingness to do something in spite of opposition of you doing it. You have to have such strong conviction that failure is not an option. Conviction actually expects people to attack you. So having that strong conviction is what makes your ultimate belief of wholesaling going to work. And we have to start from this mindset, guys, because if I cannot impose upon you the conviction it's going to take for this wholesaling journey, and trust me, it is well worth it, your belief will be shattered by all the naysayers say you can't do it, it's a scam, it's this. Understanding conviction is the difference in your mindset to actually get you through all these bullets going to be shot at you and make you a successful wholesaler. So that's where we're going to start out. The second part of the mental mindset I want you to understand is I want to teach you the difference between a sprinter and a marathon runner. Now, I classify myself as a marathon runner. No, I haven't physically run a marathon. I would love to do it. I've only done up to a half marathon, but the reality is sprinters never make it. Sprinters start out in good wholesaling markets, and the minute it gets hard, they quit. You do not want to be associated with sprinters. Unfortunately, most wholesalers are sprinters. They're looking for that flash in the pan, that super like, I want to get rich quick. Listen, you can get rich wholesaling, but the richest people are always the marathon runners, the ones that stick it out. Do you know anyone who's done this this for 21 years. We stick it out in spite of any problems in economic conditions. And that's what you absolutely have to understand. You see, I'm going to teach you how wholesaling really works. I'm completely different than most gurus teach this business. I'm looking for people that actually want to take action. You're not going to hear me use words like, are you willing to invest in yourself? I'm not going to try to subconsciously program you for you to send me tens of thousands of dollars. Honestly, I'm just asking for you to actually do your part, make yourself accountable, and get wildly uncomfortable doing this business called wholesaling. The reality is most people talk about wholesaling, but there's very few that actually take the massive amount of action it takes to really get momentum in this business and get it going. You see, what I'm going to do is teach you how to do the really hard stuff up front, getting the right sellers, conditioning them, asking the right questions and qualifying them. And then the back end's going to be very, very easy. Most gurus teach you the opposite because that's what sells. They're going to make it super simple on the front, meaning it just sounds so perfect and so sexy you can't go wrong. The reality is if you do that, it's going to be brutally hard at the end and it's actually going to break your heart. It's just the truth of this business. So if you're okay taking a journey with me, actually learning how to do the hard stuff up front and really build your conviction and understanding it's going to be a lot of work, the back end is actually easy in wholesaling. And I don't want you to be suckered into these programs where we're going to teach you how to flip MLS deals. You have no experience and there's all the deals you want on MLS. That just sells. The actual success rate on that is so slim because it sells. And I want you to understand, let's do the hard work up front and I'll show you the easy path to wholesaling. So to get you started, go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and Zach have laid out 27 years experience there on how to actually get started in wholesaling. And I'm going to teach you how to do the hard stuff up front and the rest is going to be completely up to you. So let's start out there and let's dive into how we can get rich wholesaling because now we got your mindset. Let's talk about the 3 actionable steps to get it going. So understanding these 3 steps, here is the variable that I can't control. And honestly, you can hire whatever guru you want, but you ultimately control. It's the amount of willingness you have to be massively, wildly uncomfortable moving forward in wholesaling. Because if you don't want to be uncomfortable, you're not going to make it in this business. It's just the truth. And I'm not talking about like setting your thermostat from 74 to 77. Guys, I'm talking about doing stuff that feels weird. Now, it's all legal. You're not going to be at harm's risk. There's no physical injury. You're just going to do stuff you've never been taught before. In the beginning, it's going to feel uncomfortable. That means you are going in the right direction. So when you feel uncomfortable picking up calls or talking to people or doing the same monotonous task over and over, you are well on your way to being a rich wholesaler. So step 1, I think guys, these are going to be the basics, but these 3 simple steps are what's going to catapult you to be a rich wholesaler. Number 1, you have to be a list ninja builder. And I coined this phrase years ago because I got really good at making lists. And we teach the whole strategy at freewholesaling.com. Just go over there. I do it step by step in grave detail. And what I mean by this is it is ultimately up to you to create the absolute best list. You see, when I started out wholesaling, I didn't have a lot of money for lists. There was no list providers, meaning you had to pay it a la carte and it was brutally expensive. So I would spend countless hours building the perfect list. Now, in hindsight, it's probably, I didn't need to spend nearly the time I did, but the skill sets I gained by spending so much time building lists, and lists are nothing more than your prospects of sellers that would sell you a property at a discounted rate. And wholesaling, understanding wholesaling, the art of wholesaling is what I'm teaching. I'm not teaching how to be a realtor. I don't want to teach you to be a fix and flipper. And you don't want to be a speculator or one of these burr people because they buy off finance numbers. You are buying off what the property is worth today at a discounted rate. How do you do that? You got to go get the best list possible. At freewholesaling.com, we teach you so many different techniques and most of them are absolutely free. Here's the difference. To get the absolute best list, you're going to have to do some really uncomfortable stuff. You're going to have face-to-face meetings with people that don't want to give you the list. We call them the earn list. We're talking about your probates, your tax delinquencies. The list go on and on. The code violations, freewholesaling.com, it's all there. But you've got to be willing to do whatever it takes to get those lists. And we teach you techniques on how to do it. And actually, I'm going to teach you how to be super nice getting it. You can't run people over. But if you're going to duck and hide when someone tells you no, wholesaling is going to be a huge challenge for you. Remember, all wholesaling starts with the best prospect list humanly possible. Without the correct list, you cannot go find the right type of sellers to get the right type of deals, and you're going to be nothing more than a glorified qualified realtor. Understanding how to be a list ninja is step one in becoming massively rich as a wholesaler. Step two is picking your marketing medium. And that's just a fancy word for how are you going to deliver this message to your prospect list. You've got tons of options. You know where to go to find them all at freewholesaling.com. You got cold calling. You got SMS texting. You've got direct mail. You got reverse driving for dollars. And some of you will actually even do old school door knocking like I did. Now, you've got to decide which one you're going to pick. I can't tell you which one to do. I give you the pros and cons of each one of them. But find the one that identifies with your personality the most and understand you're probably going to do something that's uncomfortable. So it's going to feel awkward. You're going to get scared. You're going to get nervous. This means you're heading down the right path. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pick one, only one when you start out, because I want you to learn the skill set of becoming wildly uncomfortable, and I want you to go all in on it. Meaning, I want you to become obsessive in how you're attacking your marketing medium. Meaning, if it's cold calling, I want you to cold call till you turn blue. And here is the secret to it, guys. Here's the secret. There is no secret. The secret is when you first start out, you don't have the experience. The only way to compensate for it is quantity and an unbelievable attitude. If you can't do those two things, you will not be a rich wholesaler. I've never met a wholesaler that didn't do really well, that had no experience, that didn't do a ton of quantity and didn't have a kick butt attitude. You've got to be enthusiastic. You got to be super happy because you have to compensate for your lack of experience with quantity and eagerness to help people out. Remember, we're trying to create win-win situations. Pick one marketing medium and go all in until you master it, and then you can add from there. Step number 3 is talking with sellers. And honestly, most of you are scared to death to do this. I know I was when I started out, but once you do it a few times, it actually becomes super easy. You see, the reality is once you get wildly uncomfortable doing it, it will be your new norm. It's no difference than the first time you wanted to ride a bike. You wanted to ride the bike, but you were scared to ride the bike. And if you want it bad enough and your conviction's there, you're willing to take your bumps, your bruises, your scrapes on your head to accomplish that goal of riding the bike on your own and just having that proud accomplishment. Wholesaling is no different. So when you're talking to sellers, the biggest thing I hear from you guys is, Rick, I don't have the confidence to talk to sellers. No. That's just in your head. You have all the confidence in the world. See, you talk to your family every day with 100% confidence. Why? Because you're completely comfortable doing it. You talk to your friends, you talk to colleagues, everyone else, you are 100% comfortable talking to them. Guess what? At first you weren't. So here's what we're going to do. We've got to exude that confidence to have these conversations. And here's the key right there. I'm going to teach you how to have a conversation. You see, because when talking to sellers, it's simply about building rapport, connecting with them and churning it into a conversation. Once you have a conversation, here's the really cool part. It's just like talking to your friends and family. When you connect with something magical happens and people open up to you and they go, man, I like this guy. I like this girl. I want to do business with them. We just got to find the right number. And that is the secret to me talking to sellers. Was I horrified the first time I talked to them? Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I was scared to death, but I just kept going back and it got less and less each time. And I understood being uncomfortable was the path to freedom to get me rich in wholesaling. And if you will adapt this theory, no seller can scare you. The worst they can do is say no to you. And I've already preconditioned you that no is okay. So understanding that. You see, meeting with sellers, all you guys are told is you got to do this sales training and you got to have that. It's not. It is, in my opinion, is complete opposite from sales training. The reality is you're building conversations with people. Talking with sellers is like you being a guide and then walking them through the process, qualifying them and helping them. Most people selling their home is their biggest decision ever. And the reality is when we're focusing on motivated sellers, they need help getting out of their own way. Huge procrastinators, lots of headaches, often full voicemails. They just need your help and they need you to guide them correctly and responsibly. Remember, it's not about selling them on selling their house. It's either they're qualified and they like working with you. And if you can check off those two boxes, you can become wildly rich while wholesaling real estate. You see, talking with sellers, you always hear about the ABCs of closings. I actually believe in it. I just have a different acronym for it. Always being consistent, consistently being a good person, creating win-win situations. And I've always told every seller, I will do everything I can to help them sell the property, even if I have to refer them to a realtor. Why? Because eventually I always win doing that way. Because if you go in from a thought of helping people as opposed to taking advantage of them, you will do so much better. So always be consistent in your effort when talking to sellers, and amazing things will happen in your life. The last part of it, which really isn't part of the I guess, sales script that we've been talking about, is just reaching out to your cash buyers. And honestly, it's really simple. It's a lot of yes, no. You just want to make sure they're qualified and you vet them sooner than later, because remember, you're selling them under contract. Remember, if a cash buyer gives you a hard time up front, they are not your cash buyer. Do not invest any of your precious time and resources trying to sell a cash buyer why they need to buy your deal. It's got to be the other way around. They have to chase you. So as I told you at the end, I'm going to tell you the real key to becoming a super rich wholesaler. And it's real simple. The real money in real estate when you get started is in finding the deals. How do you find the deals? You have to find motivated sellers. How do I find motivated sellers? I create the best list humanly possible, become a list ninja, and then I'm going to be confident when I talk to my sellers because I'm going to have conversations with them. It's going to feel uncomfortable in the beginning, but it's definitely going to get me where I need to go. You see, wholesaling, the really cool part is you're actually out hunting and finding deals, and you find a deal with a ton of profit in it, and then you just keep doing it over and over again. You see, the money is really in finding the deal. Let the realtors chase around and get that last 5 to 10% of it. Let the contractors chase around their money, and let the fix and flippers dream with their A&E TV shows. The reality is the wholesaler always has the ultimate advantage because you get the best deals possible, and you can do it 3, 4, 5. You can do it 15, 20 times in a month. The sky is your only limit, but he or she that finds the best deals have the best opportunities. The fix and flip people, the contractors, the realtors, they're all going to sit by and get the scraps of what a wholesaler does. And here's a really cool part. If you want to keep the house and build a portfolio with it, whatever you want to do, but the key is wholesaling is just repeat it over and over again. And it's going to generate you the income and the cash. And we're going to teach you how to keep that cash, but what you can do is you can invest it in real estate. We're going to teach you how to invest it in income producing assets, and that's how you get wildly rich from wholesaling. So I love wholesaling. To me, it's the greatest job in the world. I've been doing it for 21 years and I love it, and it's allowed me to buy really whatever I want, but I buy things that are going to help me free myself financially and freedom of time to do whatever I want and become wildly rich in wholesaling. So guys, let me know, are you using these techniques so you can get rich in wholesaling real estate? And do you believe that you can do this? Because guys, you have to start with your mindset. If you don't have the right mindset, the rest of it doesn't work. Let me know in the comments what you think. And if you got value from this video, do me a favor, make sure you smash that like button. You hit that subscribe notification button to continue to receive the best information on wholesaling today. This is Rick Ginn, and I'll see you in the next video.